Welcome back to episode 2 of our NDIS SEO provider campaign. In this episode, I'll be going through the entire process of optimizing the Google Business Profile. Just firstly, why is this even important? If you look at Google for any sort of location-based query, so if I'm to search disability support Brisbane, often after the ads, the first thing that shows up is the map pack. So these are all location-based queries, and this is where you can click on a business and find where they're located. So this is really important real estate to show up in. And research shows that if you're not in the top 3, you're far less likely for anyone to ever scroll down and find your business, go through to your website, inquire, and turn into a paying customer. Now, before we start, I'll just show you how we can gain access to the back end of this Google Business Profile. So you just want to search their name on Google. And then the easiest way to do this is to come down here on the Google Business Profile and click on this button, Own This Business. From there, we'll click on that, request access, and fill this out. We want at least management, relationship. For this instance, I'm an agency, phone number, agency name, etc. I've already done this, so I won't do it again. This will send a notification to the business owner, and they will get a notification and they can accept you. And then from there, you will get access to the back end of the Google Business Profile like this. Okay, now that we're in the back end of the Google Business Profile, the first thing I like to do is add images. Now I have a folder that I created with all the images from the website. Here it is. So we want to upload all of this by logo. Okay, so we want to also select a cover photo and a logo. So I'll select the logo file here. That looks good. And we also want to select a cover photo. So just looking through images now, the best one is probably this one. Yep, we'll go with that. Cool. Now, this is a good start, uploading all of these service sort of images to the website, but I will be having a chat to the client about potentially getting some more sort of professional photography done of himself, of his team, of him working with clients, just to build up more of a brand and trust around what he's doing, and so that we have more to reference, more to use on the website. The next thing I like to do is update the business name. Now, technically, from Google guidelines, you're only meant to feature your business name, which would be Neighbourly Community Care, but I have seen great effect actually putting a keyword in this name, and I've seen it jump multiple positions in the map pack. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at our keyword master list, and we're going to choose one of the keywords that we've already researched, and that is going to be Disability Support Brisbane. So we're going to throw that in here, fix the spelling up, and save that. Now, if your business is already ranking quite well and you're doing really well in the search results, I probably wouldn't add a keyword. But since we're a brand new business and we're trying our best to get traction as fast as possible, I'm going to throw a keyword in there and just see how that goes. This doesn't mean I won't change it in the future, but I'm going to roll with this now, as this is going to be our main keyword we're targeting, and that's going to be also what we're targeting on the homepage here. Now, the next thing we'll be optimizing is the business categories. Now, this is one of the most important ranking factors on your Google Business Profile, so it's super important to make sure you get these correct. One little trick I like to use is by downloading a Google Chrome extension called GMB Everywhere, and what this allows you to do once you've downloaded it is to search what categories your competitors are using. So if I search our main keyword, Disability Support Brisbane, it'll show you all the categories that are being used in these little red boxes. So a lot of them are using Disability Services and Support Organisation, which shows that our primary category is correct, but we want to see if we can find any more secondary categories that are relevant to our business. So this one here is using support group, mental health service. What else is there? Service establishment. Quite a few are using that. So we'll see if that available category. No, doesn't appear to be around anymore. So let's try and use support group. Yep, perfect. We'll add that. And we'll just quickly have a glance to see if there's any more that are relevant to our business. No, that appears to be it. All right, so we'll roll with those two. So we added support group. Next, we want to add some social profiles. So we'll just search their business. This is their Facebook here. take that URL to our Facebook and yep, Instagram here. Just making sure this is the correct one. Gotta go, yep, there it is. That's the URL there. Take that one, add an Instagram, and there we go. Next, we want to add all of the suburbs that we'll be servicing. So I know this client is looking to target the entire north side of Brisbane, and they're also willing to target Caboolture and out to Redcliffe. So they're based in Griffin, so I'll start with these ones. Since Mango Hill, yep, Rumba Downs, and I'll get back to you once all of these are complete. Now we have our complete list of suburbs that we're willing to target on this Google Business profile. Now we want to add some products to this profile. Since we're a service-based business, we actually don't have any products, but we can use our services instead. So what we want to do here is we'll take all of our services from the service page on the website. So we'll start with community access, throw that in there. We need a category, so let's call this disability services. We'll add a photo. Which one was it? Community access. We don't have a price since it's case by case. Description. Normally I would throw this information into Claude or ChatGPT to write me a description, but since we have a pretty good one here, I'm happy to just take this paragraph right here, throw that in there. Cool. And since we don't have a service page just yet for this service, we'll just take the services hub page and throw that in there, and we'll make sure to swap that over once we create the proper service page. So we'll publish that, and now we're just going to repeat the process for all of our other services. Now that we have all of our product descriptions filled out, we'll move over to the services. Now this is going to be a very similar process. It's going to be the exact same services, but for this one, they actually only allow up to 300 characters, I believe. If I add that, and I click on here, I can add a little service description, but only 300 characters. So what I want to do is take this, throw it into Claude or ChatGPT, say shorten this into 250 characters while keeping all of the important points. So this should shorten the text for us. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's see if that fits. Just 298. Perfect. We'll save that. And again, we're going to repeat the process for all of our services. Now that we've got all of these services complete, we're going to move on to the next part, which is the Q&A. Now, this is probably not the most important thing in the world to do, but I like to fill out every bit of information on this profile just so Google has as much possible info about the business to work with. So what we want to do is we want to take our URL for the website. We're going to throw it into Claude and say, write me 3 to 5 FAQs for this business that are the most important for a potential client to read. So this is going to produce some FAQs for us, and hopefully there's some good ones we can select. What services do Neighbourly Community Care provide? Yep, it's a good one. So we want to ask a question. So we can ask a question and we can actually answer our own question. So that's done. Then we want to click on answer, take post, perfect. And now I just go for 3. Are you a registered NDIS provider? What areas do you service? How do you ensure quality? Cool, there's some good ones to work with here that I will go ahead and add now. Now we have our 3 question and answers here. What services do you provide? What areas do you service? And how do I get started with Neighbourly Community Care? And the last thing I like to do on the Google Business profile is just add a post. And this essentially functions just like a Facebook or Instagram post. And it's a really good way of showing Google that you're active and engaged. And it can actually be a ranking factor for your Google Business profile. So what I want to do is just create a quick post introducing the business, since we haven't posted before. I think I'll go with that photo there. And I'll go over to Claude and say, write me a 1,000 character description of the business and what we do for our Google Business profile post. So this should just produce us a nice short and sharp description of the business. We have a person. This looks like add short call to action at the end. We'll add that in there. Remove that bit of AI. Contact us. I like to put a little bit of a space between that. Looks good to me. Now we need to add a button. So learn more. Probably best to send them to the contact page to get in contact with us. And just like we have our first post, and this is pending, and this should get accepted within a minute or so. If I refresh, it might be there. There we go. There's our first post about the business, and they can click through to contact us. Now, the only other thing that is missing from this profile is Google reviews. Now, this is one of the most important things that you can get for a business. I'll be working with the client and sort of coming up with a strategy of how we can engage clients and get them to leave a review when they're happy with their services. So if you look at all the competition in Brisbane, you can see that there's actually quite low competition levels here. So this 19, no reviews, 14, 11, 4, 10, 2, 4. So you can see that there's actually quite low competition. And if we go out and actively put a strategy in place to get Google reviews, it shouldn't take much to start outranking all of these businesses and showing up high in the Google Map packs. So that way we get more leads and inquiries through to the business. Now that is how you completely optimize a Google business profile. It's quite a simple and easy process to do, but many businesses neglect it. So if you can fill this out, just like I showed you here, you're going to be at a massive advantage. Stay tuned for episode 3 next week, where we'll be optimizing the homepage of the website so that we can get more traffic and leads through to the business.